Okay, well, cows are under control today, and we're going to do a little lathe work. What we've got here is the rollers out of a grain mill. You can see these ones. This one here I've already smoothed up, and this is the way I got it. It's what I call an abstract mosaic. You know, it looks like a work of art, and probably could go right into some gallery just the way it is. What they did is they tried to put grooves in here with an angle grinder. When this came new from the factory, it did have some real nice grooves in it, and you know, it's for rolling out your oats. And with these two mating close together with the proper clearance, you should be able to roll out an oat the size of a quarter, or almost that size anyway. So anyway, they give it a good effort. I don't know, might even pull some grain through there right now the way it is. These grooves you can see going this way were probably put in by rocks, tiny stones that were in the grain, and just set there. As these things are rolling, they would be trying to pinch that rock and gradually wear it down. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to trim this up, and we're going to put some new grooves in it. We've got an indexing gear in the lathe, which I'll show you a bit later. So we'll index these, and we've got a special homemade motorized tool for putting these grooves in. So here we go. We'll get this one cleaned up. Okay. We'll see if we can take a little bit off here. Man, that was brutal with an interrupted cut like that. But we did make a little headway on it. It's not quite as artistic as it was before. So we'll keep working away at it. We've got some mighty nasty looking chips down here. They're blue. I think this is just some sort of steel pipe that this roller's made out of. I'm not sure. I've worked on several before that were larger in diameter and length, and they were all made out of chilled cast. But I see there's a nice fillet weld down in here. So I think they just welded this up out of a piece of heavy wall pipe and called it a grain roller. So we'll chew away on it a little while longer. I'm going to have to sharpen my cutter. I just got a 1/4 inch high-speed steel cutter there, and we'll keep whittling away at it. That's pretty brutal. All those grooves in there. Quite an interrupted cut, but I see she's starting to peel off a bit of a chip now. This handle I'm using here came out of a bottling works many long years ago. My lathe is about 100 years old. It's a McDougall, made in Galt, Canada. Galt is not even a town anymore. It's been incorporated. Better pay attention to what I'm doing here. Galt has been incorporated into another city. I'm not sure which one it is. This lathe was originally installed in a pulp mill in Ocean Falls, BC. It's about 100 years old. Been quite useful to me. It's about 10 feet between centers, and I do have a large jaw, 4-jaw chuck fork that's 22 inches. I don't know exactly what it'll do over the saddle here, but it's got a 2-horsepower motor on it, and I've got a truck transmission up there. It was originally driven from a line shaft, of course. But anyway, I've had it for, I don't know, 30 years, I guess. Had a lot of fun restoring it. Made a new lead screw for the cross slide here. 5 threads per inch. This one here, the compound needs a new lead screw too. I'll get around to that one of these days maybe. This, a friend of mine gave me this 3-jaw chuck here. It's a cheap one. I made rigged it up there for the tailstock, and it's quite handy when you don't have any center marks to go by. This did originally have centers in this shaft here, but the guys that took it apart, took the bearings off, they ruined the centers, you know, with a gear puller. So guess what? Instead of monkeying around trying to get that put back in, we just used the small 3-jaw chuck. Well, we're gaining on it a little bit. Seems like the grooves are probably a little deeper on one side than the other by the sounds of it. Well, it's just a matter of time. Well, it's starting to clean up pretty good. Except on this other side here. The angle grinder, It's got some pretty good marks on the one side there. I guess they must have been leaning a little bit heavy on it right there. We'll make another cut or two and see if we can kind of, we're not going to take them all out, but we'll take a little bit more out. Just about there. Got a few little lines left in it, but I think we're about ready to quit. Imagine you can see our precision measuring equipment here that we're using. We're a little bit old-fashioned, but at least we're not using beef tallow as a lubricant. A little more modern than that. This is our last pass. We're only cutting 5,000 right now. Okay, now we're taking a precision measurement. Pretty good there. The middle feels about the same in all three spots. So, we're good to go. We'll get some of these chips cleaned up, get squared away with our groove cutter, and we'll be back. Okay, well, started putting some grooves in it, and this is my cutter here. I've got a 1/2 horse motor on here. That's a pulley off furnace, squirrel cage fan in a furnace, and we've got oh dear. We've got this cutter here. You can see it's just high-speed steel sharpened on both ends with a set screw. We just kind of try and get it in there more or less equal. And away she goes. And we'll have a look at the indexing setup. I can use any gear on the end of the spindle here. I got a pile of them on this old girl. I happen to have a 70 tooth gear in there now, and we're going to use every one of those. And I've got a spring on here tied to the wall. I can just pull this out and there we go. Advance another. Ready for another groove. It's arbitrary. They seem to be about the right, leaving about the right land there. So we got 70 of these grooves put in here. We better get going. Okay, we'll give it a try here. So we can do either the climb milling or the undercut. Works both ways. See if we can. Well, we're down to the last groove. We've done 69, one to go. And at 6 inches per groove, turns out that we've cranked this thing for 35 feet to make those grooves. So here we go, we'll get this last one going. I imagine you've seen enough. So until next time.